Hey, everybody. So I got this comment and I want to talk about it. I don't have a script. I don't have anything prepared. I just have my thoughts and I thought that I'd share them. So here goes. Well, yeah. Pokemon, the games have to come out at the same time that the anime and the card games do. That's true. They are a multimedia franchise and they make more money from merchandise than they do for game sales alone. That is true. That has been true for a long time. That being said, is that a good excuse for making bad games? And furthermore, should they continue this trend? And by that I mean a couple of things. It was easy for Pokemon to drop a generation every 3 or 4 years when we were working with unsophisticated or less sophisticated handheld hardware. And even with that relative lack of sophistication and difficulty, Pokemon still struggled with a couple of development cycles. Like the first Pokemon game came out towards the end of the original Game Boy's life. And there were bugs and glitches that didn't get fixed until Generation 2 because of major programming errors because it was their first game. So even on easier things to program for, we've had struggles since the first generation. We are now on the second generation of Pokemon to come out on the same home console hardware. And we are still seeing massive bugs and massive glitches, game-breaking bugs and game-breaking glitches in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Is it a good idea to rush production on multiple forms of media if Nintendo has always had a problem keeping up with making Pokemon games? I would argue not. I simply wouldn't. I don't think that's good for them. I also don't think it's a particularly good excuse. Like, yeah, Pokemon needs to come out with the anime and the card games, but given that Nintendo and Game Freak and Viz and all of them own that property, could they not just wait and postpone? There are plenty of card games that don't see expansions for long periods of time, right? They don't get new versions of things for long periods of time. Magic the Gathering and Wizards of the Coast, they take a while before they drop a new version of the card game. Pokemon can wait. I'm not saying that Pokemon shouldn't come out with all of their media at the same time. If that's effective, fine. But what's not effective is pushing a new generation every 2 to 3 years, like they did for the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, and then the Game Boy Advance, and then the DS. It's just not good. They can't do that anymore. And it's not good for the game designers. It's not good to have to program brand new stuff every 2 to 3 years on consoles that change. Like Nintendo Switch. The Nintendo Switch isn't even on the cutting edge of hardware technology for consoles. And these games were buggy as all hell because they were rushed. Pokemon is so rushed and so bogged down by all of its stuff that they had to outsource the remakes to the Gen 4 games to a different company who had never programmed a Pokemon game before. And they didn't do an amazing job either. I'm not saying that Pokemon shouldn't come out with all the other things that Pokemon has planned. I'm saying they should take their time. I can wait another year for the anime. I can wait another year for the card game. Pokemon is better than Disney right now in regards to money making and recognizable franchises. They can afford to wait a year to release finished projects. We're not getting the DLC until later this year anyway. That means Pokemon came out last year and we're not getting the DLC until a year later. That could have just been when the game dropped. That could have been when the anime dropped. That could have been when the card game dropped. If I can wait a decade for Kingdom Hearts 3, people can wait a year for a Pokemon game. It won't kill them. Yeah, they need to all drop at the same time. Those times just shouldn't be so close together. It's not good for them. I want this franchise to last. Making excuses for behavior that harms developers, harms product, and harms consumers by acclimating them or forcing them to acclimate into a world where their games can come out buggy, unfinished, and half-baked is not good for anybody involved. I want better for all of you. I just wish you all wanted better for yourselves.